should you get and build Ling? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this entire video.
リーンと呼んでくれたらいいよ。うちの面倒な子2人がお世話になってるらしいけど、迷惑かけてない？
Ling is a limited summoner 6-star from Nian, one of the Nian siblings, a poet, and former strategist from Shangshu region. After the event An Invitation to Wine, she came to Rhodes Island, aiding them as a tactician and combat, using her century-old strategist knowledge, and her own summons that she can create. Ling is a supporter that will support your team by literally annihilating every enemy on the map. But is she really that awesome? Let's see more about her. Ling is a summoner supporter that can deal arts damage with her normal attack, and can summon an allied unit to help in the battle. As for her general stats, Ling has pretty much the same stats like Magellan. A decent attack damage and attack speed. But with her skills, she and her summons can have a very massive attack. She has a cheap DP cost, but using her summons from time to time, especially her skill 3, can cost a lot, up to 23 DP per summon. Perhaps in general story stages with DP printer isn't much of a problem, but surely troublesome in a stage where your DP generation is being restricted. As for her talents, her first talent, Ling normally can store 5 summon unit, and can only deploy 3 together. The summon functionality changes depending on selected skill, and the summon unit stats is also different depending on which skill you use. Her summon unit use deployment slot, and can't be healed by using normal heal, but can be healed by regeneration healing. And if a summon unit is defeated, or retreated manually, that summon unit won't be stored back to Ling. As for her second talent, when a summon is defeated, absorbed or retreated, Ling will gain 3 or 4 SP, and increase her attack by 3% stacks up to 5 layer. A good talent to increase her attack, and quite easy to achieve the full stack. And this is her potentials upgrade list. Ling is a powerful and a limited character, so perhaps some people want to full pot her. But overall she's fine without potentials. And then this is her module. Increases her HP and attack. Increase her maximum summon limit by 3, and reduce her summon unit cost. Increasing the summon unit that can be stored is a welcomed one. But the most impactful thing here is the reduced DP cost of her summon unit. Minus 3 DP for her skill 1 and 2, and minus 5 DP for her skill 3. Ling's summon unit can cost quite amount of DP, so this will help you to deploy her summon faster and cheaper. Overall this module is a must to unlock once you eat her, especially for the investment of her module upgrade. And then the module level 2 and 3 upgrade. The module upgrade will improve her talent. In level 2 she can summon 4 summon unit together. It might be just +1 summon, but falling it's very impactful. All of Ling's summon no matter the skill selected, are strong. But the skill that get most impact from this module upgrade is her skill 3. Her S3 can deploy and combine the summon unit to create a higher form. Without the module upgrade, you can only create 2 higher form dragon. But with the upgrade, 3 high form dragon is now possible. And for the level 3 upgrade, her summon unit stats will be improved. I must say the increased stats is nothing extraordinary. Overall the level 2 upgrade is enough, but you can choose to farm to upgrade it to level 3. And moving to her skills, her first skill. Her summon is a melee unit, and the active effect will increase her attack damage and attack speed. The summons will turn their attack to arts damage, and obtain 1 summon when you active this skill. A great skill for starter. The summon is pretty tanky and have a decent DPS. The skill have a nice cycle, and can turn into arts damage to fight armored enemies. And then for her second skill. Her summon unit is a ranged unit, similar to a core caster. For the active effect, Ling and her summon will deal high critical damage to 2 enemies within range, and bind those enemies for some time. Once finish attacking, retrieve all summons with less than 50% HP. This skill can be both a great damage skill and flexible crowd control. The SP cost is quite cheap, with the help of SP battery unit. And with her talent too, she can trigger this skill quite often. The only downside of this skill is that you can't obtain any new summon. So make sure to pay attention when using the summon unit. Last but not least, her third skill. Her summon is a melee unit, can attack multiple enemies equal to block count. And the dragon can be combined to a higher form dragon. The higher form has more stats than the normal one, and deals arts damage. If you combine 2 dragons to make a higher form, you will use 2 deployment slots. But the game will consider one higher form dragon as only one deployed unit from Ling. The skill active effect will increase both Ling and the summon attack and defense. And each summon deals arts damage equal to 20% of Ling's attack every 0.5 seconds to enemies in the 4 adjacent tiles, and will obtain 1 summon unit when the skill ends. Arguably her best skill and what makes Ling unique. Her normal dragon already deal good amount of damage and have a tanky stats. And the dragon's higher form is an absolute beast, even beating Calci monster stats, and can be deployed up to 3 higher form dragons. When her skill is active, her summon can clear waves of enemies and tear down a high armored or resistance enemy. But of course there's some drawback. First of all, her summon unit can cost a lot, especially without the module. Her higher form dragon can take a lot of deployment slot. And yes, her higher form dragon is tanky, but they are not immortal. They cannot be easily healed, though can be respawn easily. And this skill have a pretty big SP cost without M3. For skill masteries, her S3 is her best skill to master. Though her higher form summon are strong enough in level 7. But the M3 always come in handy. The higher form dragon stats are incredible and useful in a story stages or IS mode. For CC content though, I rarely see her make a noticeable appearance in a high risk. But it's not so hard to put her in risk 18 or lower, or for a daily map. Your secondary choice to M3 is her S2 for ranged attack and binding. The damage she dealt with her summon is quite high. But for a full-time stalling skill I think it's quite replaceable. But overall not a priority to master. The S1 is a great starter skill, but mostly her S3 is the better choice for melee summon. Perhaps you'll find the usefulness for it in some situation, but overall not a priority to master. And for her base skills. When assigned to the control center, remove self-affecting moral reduction effects of operators belonging to Sui faction and the control center. Currently it will only affect Dusk, which will erase her base skill mood reduction. As for the second skill, if Ling's moral is above 12, gain plus 15 worldly plight. If 12 or below, gain plus 10 sensory information. Worldly plight is used to improve Mr. Nothing trading post skill, while sensory or perception information is for Osmontis factory skill. This base skill can be a headache to manage, but worth to use, especially if you have all the affected operators. So, will Ling become a good operator for your team? Ling is a very powerful summoner with a useful abilities. Her skill 2 has a high arts damage and can become a versatile tool to bind enemies. Her skill 3 does require some deployment slot, but it's absolutely worth the 2 slot. Most of the time it can solo a lane and kill powerful enemies all alone without dying. And when they do die, Ling can easily spawn them again. Very useful for your trust farming. Ling is also friendly with newbie. Her starter skills are great, and overall an awesome investment to E2. And hey, she's a limited, so that's a plus point to get her. So grab your orundum, we got Drunk Dragon to gacha. That should be all. Adios.